Hey everyone, welcome to today's live session. If you're dealing with inflammation, chronic pain, or low energy, this conversation is for you. We're talking about how to plan raw vegan meals to reduce inflammation so you can feel your best every single day. And I'm so thrilled to be joined by Rosie Montoya, a raw vegan chef, juicing nutrition expert, and wellness educator. Rosie has been living a high raw vegan lifestyle for nearly 16 years and has healed herself from chronic conditions like Epstein-Barr, fibromyalgia, sleep apnea, and more. Now she helps others thrive with plant-based nutrition. Before we dive in and get to meet Rosie, I want to remind you that Rosie's 3-day raw foods and juice course is available in the Vegan Health Bundle, which you should know by now. We've been talking about it all week, and you can see on the countdown there's only 2 days left, 2 days and 10 hours and 47 minutes. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of this 99% discount on all these resources that total close to $6,000. It's a lot of stuff in here. All of them are healthy, helpful resources to help you reduce inflammation, reset your body, and nourish yourself with raw foods. If you're not ready to go completely raw, there's some cooked food options in here as well. So make sure you take advantage of that. The link for that is in the description to this video. Rosie, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Samantha. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you and everybody who's joining us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I'd love for you to start by telling us a little bit about your healing journey. What role did raw vegan food play in reducing your inflammation?
It played a huge role. It was the thing that allowed me to regain my health and my vitality, my vigor, and really kind of gave me my health back. I was suffering from a few different things, fibromyalgia, which is like chronic fatigue syndrome. So basically had inflammatory conditions. I had gained some weight. I had sleep apnea. And I knew better because I had become a vegetarian at 11 years of age. And then I transitioned into vegan, but it's healthier to be a whole foods plant-based vegan as opposed to just a vegan. So when I was eating vegan, I was having some junk food as well, which is the faux meats. And then when I was vegetarian, I had cheese and bread still and things like that. So that actually caused some health challenges, as I was growing up. And I knew better. So when I experienced those things, I thought, okay, I need to take my health to the next level and I need to get rid of this inflammation. I need to alkalinize my system. I need to eat fresh, raw living foods and juices. So I did a 30-day program where all I had was fresh juices, some teas, some herbal tinctures. I did hot and cold therapy. I did some bath treatments. I kind of just gave my body a complete overhaul and reset to get that inflammation down and allow my body to heal. And getting the fresh juice into my system allowed my body to gain that health back, because if we're in a compromised position, we have inflammation, we're sick, the body can't really get any nutrients through that intestinal wall, even if we think we're eating so healthy and good. If we have any kind of compromised situation going on, we're just eating, but it's not really getting through. So with fresh juices, it can bypass that intestinal wall and it gets directly to the cells, so the body can get that life force and get some healing going on. So it's really a total game changer. So I did that, and then I continued on with my lifestyle, just having fresh juice is part of every day, and I know when I am completely 100% raw, I feel my best because the inflammation is down, the joints feel good, my body can heal itself, and I will always juice. I've been juicing for 30 years now.
That's awesome. And I see you have a juicing setup here. Were you planning on making a juice for us today?
Yes, I've been juicing this morning, so I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the process when the time is right. I have the colored carrots here, and I went ahead and kind of cut everything up here. So I have the purple carrots. I like to have like a rainbow of colors to make sure I'm getting all the different nutrients. So I have the purple, yellow, the orange. I have some celery, so we're getting that nice mineral salts that the body needs. I also have some apples, lemon, and purple kale, which I already have sitting in the hopper right here, and
Love
ginger
it.
root.
Nice, nice. Looking forward to that. So you mentioned inflammation, right? And how that's been a part of your story. A lot of people hear this word, they're not quite sure exactly what it is. So if you can kind of break it down for us, what is inflammation and how does what we eat affect it?
Yes. So inflammation is the body's response to any kind of trauma, you could say. So like when we get injured or we hurt ourselves and the area gets red and warm and swollen, it's getting inflamed. But that's because the body's doing its job and it's sending what it needs there to contain that area and to heal it. Now, when that happens in an internal level and the inflammation doesn't go away, then that can cause some problems because naturally it should go away. So if you have an imbalance in your system and you're battling, something chronic, you're having inflammation that's constant, and that can create havoc in the system, and your body just won't heal. So we have outside contributing factors, we have internal contributing factors, what we're eating, the environment, our lifestyle, and sometimes we just don't allow our bodies to heal because we're not eating right or living correctly. So when we do something like fresh juicing or raw foods, eating more plant-based foods, reducing our stress, positive mindset, prayer, meditation, all of that, will nourish the system and enable the body to kick in and heal itself. Because I believe that God designed our bodies to heal themselves of anything. If we just give them what they need and stop doing what's hurting them, and provide the nutrition and lifestyle that our bodies need to get that inflammation down so healing can occur.
Brilliantly said. So let's talk about food. What are some of the most powerful anti-inflammatory foods that people should include in their raw vegan meal plans? I think like especially with your story, having gone through fibromyalgia and raw foods helped you through that. For those who may be going through that and have been scared to try, what has been impactful for you?
Some of the foods that have been the most impactful include ginger root, turmeric, beets, a lot of the dark reds for the anthocyanins that are in the dark purples and reds. So beets, watermelon, getting that lycopene in. Watermelon even has an amino acid called citrulline that the body and the kidneys convert to L-arginine when we ingest it. So I've also done periods of times where I've ingested large amounts of watermelon. I've done watermelon feasting and cleansing, which reduces the inflammation to zero. My body feels amazing, no joint pain whatsoever. So yeah, those are some of the foods to focus on, as well as the leafy greens. So lots of greens, lots of celery, kale, chard, spinach, cilantro. You want to target those heavy metal detoxifiers as well. So a lot of cilantro for that heavy metal detoxifying ability that it has, because we want to make sure that as we're cleansing and our body's getting cleaner and the inflammation's going down, that the elimination system is working so the body can actually get rid of all the toxins that are coming out. And the lymphatic system is flowing smoothly. So I also incorporate like lymphatic rebounding and also body brushing.
And I know in your course in the bundle, you talk about that a little bit about skin brushing and how to do it and how frequently. In terms of the meal planning process, so with fibromyalgia, just to backtrack a little bit, is this, I don't know if in the medical system, do they ever consider it like healed, like you no longer have it? Is it gone, or are you just in remission, or what is the terminology around that?
Well, to be considered to have fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, they test you for tender points. And if you have 11 out of the 18 tender points along your body, then they consider that to be fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome. So that's the guidelines for it. So if those points are no longer tender, then you're considered that you don't have it anymore, that you're healed.
So for you, you're in a situation where all of those points, they're no longer tender.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
meal planning, I know, is really essential for consistency on this lifestyle. So what has that been like for you to make sure that you stay, out of this, fibromyalgia and it doesn't come back?
Yes, great question. Maintaining my completely raw vegan lifestyle is key. My body thrives tremendously well when I'm doing all 100% raw. That's when I feel my absolute best and no signs of anything going on. I do like to eat cooked food, whole food, plant-based as well occasionally. And sometimes I'll go through periods of times where I'm including that for several months. I will tell you that my body is not at its tip-top health condition when I do that. It's only when I'm 100% raw. So if I'm wanting to feel my best and have no kind of little aches and pains or little discomfort, then I need to be 100% raw. That's how my body thrives. It does best that way. Lots of fresh juices, lots of smoothies, lots of salads and zucchini noodles and fresh fruit. Pretty much the way that I show in the 3 days raw food and juice program. Eating that's my staple because that's easy and simple to stick to. And I've designed it to make sure I'm getting all of the nutrition that my body needs. And you can swap out the fruits depending on the season. Sometimes I'll be eating tons of watermelon instead of the oranges. So it just depends on the season. But yeah, just getting enough hydrating fruit in for those electrolytes and for that structured water that our body needs to heal. It's not the same as just drinking water. So if I go any kind of time without my fresh juice, I definitely feel the difference in the effects.
And you're a juicing nutrition expert, so I have to ask, how do juices and smoothies fit into your anti-inflammatory meal plan? Like, I know in the course it's you're doing them daily, but when you're outside of doing like a raw food feast just on the regular, and for folks who may be going through fibromyalgia and want to get off, should they lean more to one over the other, like juices more than smoothies, or how are you thinking about that?
Yeah. I think it's a good balance if you're just like maintaining. If a person just wants to like get a kickstart and they want to really cleanse and they're having a lot of pain and discomfort and inflammation, then I would do like a 3-day juice cleanse just to really reduce that inflammation quickly, give the digestive system a complete rest so the body can actually use its energy on healing itself and reducing that inflammation. Because when we have any kind of fiber in the diet with the smoothies or with eating food, it's work for the system. So that can naturally cause the body to work harder and be a little inflamed. But when we have no fiber in it, our digestion is quiet. That's why when I have just completely watermelon, which is almost in a pre-digested state, I feel amazing because my digestive system did not have to work at all. My body didn't have to do anything. It could heal and still get a massive amount of nutrition into the cells. So that's what I would recommend. And then once that 3 days juice, nutrition therapy has passed, then to introduce the smoothies. And then the system has had that chance to heal, and now it can handle that fiber, and then adding in more of the salads and the roughage and things like that.
I see. Great point. And there was an email that came through to me where there was, I can't remember where it was published. I think Nature, one of these publications where they publish research studies. And they were basically talking about how juicing changes the gut microbiome, which is clearly, obviously, right? There's no fiber. But they were spinning it as if it's, a negative thing. And I do have a bias. You're a juice nutrition expert, so of course you probably have a bias. But you actually went through the process of being healed from a disease that, the medical system does not have a solution for, right? So from your perspective, like, what is your response to stuff like this? Because a lot of people have a lot of fear and concern when it comes to juicing, and they're always questioning juicing or smoothies, where do you land on that whole conversation from the medical system?
Okay. Yeah, I think both have their place. And once again, if a person's in a compromised position, I think the juicing is the way to go, and then to incorporate the smoothies. I'm in a position now where I have both every day. I have fresh juice and smoothie. And then, of course, my salads. And now if I'm going to do a cleanse, or I feel like my body needs a reset, and I really want to hit something hard, then I'll default back to my fresh juices. Now, there is soluble fiber is still in the juice. So we're still getting a tiny bit of fiber. We can strain the juice to make sure it's completely, almost 100% free of it if we're wanting to really, really rest the digestive system. But if somebody's out there concerned, like, oh, there's no fiber, I've heard that too. There's no fiber in the juice. It's a waste. You're not getting the fiber to help the roughage move through the intestinal tract, through the colon, to have a good bowel movement. You're not having any fiber. And I understand that. And that is essential and very important for our health as well. But if we're looking at it from a standpoint of healing and reducing inflammation and getting nutrition to the cells, then we have to think a little bit differently, because we're living in a world we've never lived in before. The environment is very challenging to us. Every single thing we come in contact to is, negatively affecting us. And our bodies are in a compromised position, even if we are trying our best to live very healthy and pure and eat great. So that's where juicing comes into play. And I think there definitely is a time to have the complete fresh juice to give that body its chance to heal. And when you're feeling stronger and you feel like, wow, I got that nutrition and I actually feel like I have strength now. I can go for a walk. I can, do my stretches, and I can lift a little bit of weights. Then that means your body's finally getting that nutrition it couldn't get before. And the juice can provide that. Then you start adding your smoothies and getting your fiber again, because you're feeling stronger now. Your body's in a stronger position, basically.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Was it difficult for you in the beginning to even engage in this? Like, what even inspired you to try raw?
Okay. So I became a vegetarian when I was 11 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
And my love for animals is what inspired me. And then I started to research the health benefits of it. And I looked at the different ways that humans and animals processed meat and how it was digested and eliminated. And our colons are set up completely different from, say, a carnivore that's an animal. They're designed to get rid of that meat they eat pretty quickly because they have short colons, where our system is designed very intricate. We have, like 30 feet, I think, of, small intestine, and then the colon. So food we eat has a lot more to go through. So it's harder for us as humans to digest and eliminate meat, and that's why it can ferment and rot in people who are eating it constantly and not cleansing, and cause problems. So I got into that at a very young age, and I was kind of studying and looking at all that, and I continued on as a vegetarian, and then I transitioned to a vegan, but I was unhealthy for a while there, eating all the cheese and bread. So I knew better. I always tell myself I knew better. So I just had to get back on track and take it to that next level of healing. So I've always been into the research part of it and application. And it was very exciting for me, actually, to go through that 30-day cleanse, because I'm my happiest and my most vibrant. I think we all are when we are living our passion. Mm-hmm. And health and nutrition has always been my passion, even though I've had my challenges and struggles and not always been a good example of it. It was very exciting for me to actually be able to do it and live it and speak it and show people it works.
I see. Were there any particular speakers, doctors, or anyone that had you thinking, oh, if I tried raw, maybe it would help with this?
Yeah. Oh gosh, way back in the 90s, Viktoras Kulvinskis. He's kind of like the raw food pioneer. So way back then, he was a speaker that I did go to see in person, and he had an event, and he had all the raw food out there and juices, and I was just like, wow, this was raw food, because I was always around the vegetarian food and went to the health food stores where they served the vegan sandwiches and all that, but not so much the raw. So when I went to his event and just heard him speak and talk about the living foods and the sprouts and the raw foods and how everything was made, I was so excited to start on that path and continue on it. So I kind of just continued through the years. I didn't start right away when I saw him all 100% raw vegan, but as the years passed by, I never forgot it, and I got more health books and more things on raw foods and just continued to dive into it. And also herb doc, Dr. Richard Scholl's, he's based in Marina Del Rey. Yeah, I love him. He's always been an inspiration for me. I love his book, There Are No Incurable Diseases. And that's the 30-day program I did. His 30-day incurables. Yeah. So it was his intense program with all the tinctures, all the herbs, all the fresh raw food, and the baths and everything. So yeah, he's definitely an inspiration. Yeah.
So have you noticed in working with people any common mistakes that folks make when they start a raw vegan diet and have some difficulty and they struggle to stay consistent?
Yeah, one of the main things is not eating enough. And in my 3-day program in the bundle, I have plenty of food in there. When I first did the program, I did it with a live audience. You'll see in the Zooms, I was actually like answering questions for people. And then I pre-recorded the videos. And I got feedback from everybody. And they definitely told me they had so much food. They even had food left over after the 3-day program. So I wanted to make sure, especially for somebody who's new to this, I want to make sure that they're getting the nutrition and the satiation that the body needs to maintain happiness and vigor and strength. So one mistake people make is not eating enough. So you want to make sure that you have enough to give your body the calories that it needs and give you the satisfaction that comes from actually enjoying and eating food. And when you have that, you feel great. And so you're excited to do more and you have the strength and energy to continue.
Yeah. I would love to see that juice that you plan to make.
Okay,
Ginger
yeah.
juice.
I can go ahead and get it going for everybody. Let me see right here. I'm going to add some more items into the top of the hopper. I already have an orange in there, some ginger root, and a green apple. So I'm just adding in the chopped up celery, the different carrots. And I do chop them up because I've been had a lot of juicers over the last 30 years, and I really like this one. And one of the benefits is that you can put a whole giant apple in it.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've learned, I like to kind of chop things up anyways because I find that it just takes it down much quicker. So it's even more efficient, you know?
Yeah.
So you can put the whole pieces in. So it might be a little noisy.
I actually tried with the apple too because I'm lazy with my meal prep. And I know it struggles a lot, the nama, with a whole apple, but just cutting it in half, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm used to cutting the veggies and stuff. I've done it for so long, you know, and so it's like not a problem. You just don't have to cut them as small in this one, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of overfill it when I know I shouldn't, but I do. I need to stop overfilling it, but it manages. So yeah, it's gonna juice there for us, and I really like this one. I have like it's a slow masticating juicer, so it's only spinning at 50 RPMs. You have one as well, Samantha?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I just made a juice actually with beets, celery, ginger. What else did I put in there? Apple.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been my regular.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kind of your go-to juice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Celery for sure.
Mm-hmm. Get all those natural sodium salts. So one thing too, you can see it filling up here, which is gorgeous. I love to see it fill up there. And then once in a while, I will reverse it, just in case anything gets, lodged onto the plate, because sometimes that will happen. So I just reverse it a few times, and then it feeds it all in just nicely. And I like to mix all the fruits in there. I know originally when I first got it, it said to layer everything, which I totally understand and agree with. But I just kind of mix it. I chop everything up, and I find that it goes down much easier. I always cut my greens, my cilantro, my parsley. I cut them up with my kitchen scissors and mix them in with all the apples and everything I've cut up, and it just takes it all down really nicely.
Have you tried cabbage juice?
Yes. Do you like it? Do you like cabbage juice
The
too?
question is, do you like it?
I like it. It doesn't taste delicious, but
Yeah.
I can do it. A lot of juices I make to taste great, but I also make a lot of juices that taste horrible just because I know they're good for me. So I'll drink it. Yeah. Yeah. I kind of love cabbage though. I'll just eat it raw like that. I like the taste of it. Yeah. So, and broccoli too, and cauliflower. I don't really juice those so much, but I love eating them raw. See, so I reversed it again, and then I just continue doing it there. So I'm going to grab a different glass. This one's kind of cute. I just love the whole process of juicing. I like to have like my cute little glasses and everything just to make it nice and enjoyable and kind kind of fun being in the kitchen. I love the smell of the veggies. There's just so much life in everything that's raw, and it's so beautiful, the colors. And I strain some of my juices, but not all of them. Depends on the mix. And so that's a little bit to have right there.
That's pretty.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, a lot of folks complain about the washing, right? The prepping of all the produce and all the washing. I love in your course how you tell folks to get into the kale and like get all those nitty gritties. It's like, yes, this is my girl, right? Like you have to really have detailed, inspection of the greens because, we're vegan. We're not trying to eat insects and things.
Exactly. Especially with that kale, right? Sometimes you look and there's like a little worm caterpillar going on in there, and he's got some stuff in there. So yeah, you got to get in there.
Kale especially is a lot, and then the celery, which I think you talk about too, like all the dirt that's in between at the bottom, So the stuff, it does take time. Yeah. I find it's worth it. But like, are you juicing every day, or what's your frequency?
With this slow, tight masticating juicer, I can juice every 3 to 5 days. So I usually do it 1 to 2 days a week. And then I make enough to put in the refrigerator. It can also be frozen, but I hardly ever freeze the juice. It just lasts in the refrigerator for 3, 4, sometimes 5 days. Mm-hmm. And I make enough, so I'm just grab and go. And just to make it easy and efficient, so I'm not having to take my juicer out and do this process every single day.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. The only upgrade I wish they could make is so the whole thing can just go into the dishwasher. That would be like excellent. Then I'd be like, yes, everybody get this juicer. Right. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I find it a little bit easier to clean though than my previous juicers I've had for some reason.
For sure.
And I'm not, I do my best, I clean it, but I'm not sitting there for an hour like making sure it's like in perfect condition. I'm just rinsing it, cleaning it, scrubbing it. And sometimes people will, they won't want to juice or they won't want to make smoothies because they don't want their equipment to start to look dirty or old or get that white calcium deposits. But to me, it's more important. Just use it. Use it. Yeah. That's what it's there for. It's like when you have a book and you read it and you don't want to write in it. I'm like, write in it, ruin it, destroy it. Use it as much as you can so you get the benefits from it. Nothing's going to last forever. So let's just use it and, benefit from it and get healthy and not worry that it's not going to look perfect forever,
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like, well, you could buy a second one just to put on the counter if that's what you want. Yeah, decoration, But that's an interesting decorative choice. Because, if you're juicing things like turmeric and beets, it's not going to look brand new forever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So for those of you watching us live, thank you so much for watching live. Definitely make sure you put your questions in the chat box for Rosie so we can ask her while she's still here. And make sure that you check out her course. It's a 3-day raw food and juice course right inside the vegan health bundle. And this, you can see the bundle is packed with so many items in here. So you get her raw course. There's some other raw recipe books. There's also some cooked stuff if you're, interested in having some cooked things. And lots of, look at this, plant-based comfort classics, label reading tips, raw food for anti-aging, which, this thing, raw food for anti-aging, like, yes, what Rosie just showed you is anti-aging for the cells. I think that our society, we have too much of an emphasis on aesthetic anti-aging. Like, there's nothing wrong with growing old. That's a privilege. It's a blessing to grow old. We should all be so fortunate, But our cells, yes, we can reverse our biological age with eating this way. When you eat raw foods that are low in advanced glycation end products. So I'm getting a lot of thumbs up. Thank you so much for the folks who are live. No questions, Rosie. Do you have any final pieces of advice for folks who may be in a similar situation as what you were before, dealing with a lot of the inflammation and chronic disease issues, on how they can, stay consistent and be motivated on this journey?
Yeah, to really stay connected and focused on your body's healing power, and not to get distracted by other things that might be going on in your life, whether it's, close to you or just circumstances, in your environment. It's so important to stay focused on your healing and to remind yourself every day that your body can heal itself. God designed you so amazingly. You can do it. So just to stay focused and not to become, sad if you're not feeling well right now, but to look forward and imagine yourself feeling healthy. Imagine yourself doing the things that you love, whether it's going to the beach or climbing a mountain or, visiting horses or out in nature, whatever you love to do, reading a book. Imagine yourself already healed, and that's going to get you through each day. And then every little bit that you're putting into your body, the fruit, the vegetables, look at them and just bless them. I always like to pray and bless my food and just know that what it's doing in my body. Like, I imagine it going in there and it's like, it's getting my liver healthier. It's helping my pancreas. It's helping my inflammation go down. Imagine your organs healthy. Imagine your body moving fluidly. Do that every day and continue to focus on that. And if negative thoughts come into your mind, just release them. Just push them away and say, I don't think like that anymore. I'm not going to let that thought ride in my brain, and just push it away. To me, that those things are huge, because not only are we dealing with, physically what we're doing, but we're our mind is so affected by what we think ourselves, what we listen to, what we watch, who we surround ourselves by. So if you don't have any positivity around you or any kind of encouragement for eating this way, then plug into people that do, people like Samantha, like myself, like other people in the bundle, or other people that you like to listen to. Keep yourself surrounded by that, and that can help you get started and maintain this lifestyle that you're going to enjoy and become a healthier person because of it.
Yeah, one of the things I love to do in the morning, with your course, is just when I'm doing my meal prep of juicing or smoothies or salads, whatever I'm doing in the kitchen, I just listen to you while I'm doing my stuff. And I don't know, it feels different than just doing it by myself. It just feels like a friend is in the kitchen with you when you're meal prepping together.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, I do that too. And you have a wonderful offering in the bundle. I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, the Beat Stress Eating course. So it's really for folks who struggle with consistency, looking at how can we get our brain on board to support us, since the brain is the organ of our personality, of our behavior. It's managing how we think, feel, and behave. And you're talking about the negative thought patterns. The consistency piece, like once you have made the decision that this is something you need to do for yourself, for your own health, why do we struggle with the follow through, with the consistency, right? This is more of a brain health issue, in my opinion. And so we go through that. I take you on a whole journey, starting with the mindset, the fears that come up, which one of them, I want to ask you about, because you were dealing with these health issues and you decide to go 100% raw to heal your body. What was the response of your family and friends around you? Were they supportive?
Yeah, I didn't have any issues. Absolutely. Kind of just was an inspiration because I was doing something so different,
That's awesome.
So yeah. So people around me just kind of like, wow, and maybe I want to try this too. Or, what are you doing? Why are you doing? And then they see the change in the person too. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow, this stuff really works. So yeah, I'm kind of just, I go after what I want to do and I just do it. So I was blessed to just not have any rejection or anybody trying to pull me off that train, I'm doing this no matter what.
That's wonderful, and not a lot of people have that. Definitely when you do have that, it's a huge boon, like a huge, when you have the support system, folks aren't trying to pull you away or make you feel like you're crazy for trying to go a natural route. For folks who don't have that, you definitely need to fortify yourself. and we talk about that in the Beat Stress Eating training. If you don't have that support around you, you have to be your own support, and that calls for getting the mindset right.
Awesome. Well, your course sounds amazing. I looked through all the pages and I'm going to work through them and answer all the questions. So I'm excited for that.
So it comes with a workbook, and it links to a course where we go through the whole thing, and the workbook actually helps you work through to integrate all the information, because I feel like a lot of people love to learn. We need more people actually taking action. That's what we need, right? So that we can change some of these numbers, because the last thing that I heard was half of all adults in America are overweight or obese, and like more than 75% of the young people are, something like that. Hold on, what was it? The Lancet. They said half of adults and a third of kids worldwide will be overweight or obese by the year 2050. In America, the numbers are even worse than this. They said by 2026, over 70% of the American population is going to be overweight or obese. And this is completely avoidable and reversible, because we're talking about metabolic dysfunction at that point. The body is not supposed to have this amount of excess adipose tissue on it. And it's coming from excess of too much energy that we're not burning, ingredients the body doesn't recognize, and raw food is the complete opposite of that, Yeah. And then also on a raw food diet, it's harder to mitigate, is that the right word? Or satisfy, I should say, cravings, Mm-hmm. What were cravings like for you when you first got started on the journey? Especially coming off cheese. I would think that would have been hard.
Definitely. It takes a while because the brain's kind of addicted to those casomorphines that are in the cheese. So that was tough. It was tough. I kept having cravings for it, but that's what led me really to get into creating recipes and finding ways that I could satiate myself and making sure that I was having foods that helped me feel like I was getting that kind of food, but it was a healthy version of it. So there's like an Irish sea moss almond recipe that you can make like a little, like a cheese, like it looks like a mozzarella cheese. And so I was experimenting, making all this different stuff, just finding things I could have on hand. And that's important. It's really important, because when somebody's starting out, they have all these cravings. The body is so strong-willed that it can overpower, and it can be very easy for a person to just say, forget this, I have to have this other food, I have to go eat my pizza. So it's important to think ahead and start to create things that you can have, because if I have my like raw vegan pizza, make my buckwheat crust, and dehydrate that, have it ready, make my raw marinara sauce and have my nut cheese, and I have everything ready, truly it satiates me. It truly satiates me. So I think if people just have those things and kind of know ahead of time what they're going to make, then they can avoid those pitfalls and giving into those cravings. Just give yourself this healthy version and it will totally satisfy you, because also the body's looking to get more nutrition. So when we have cravings, not only is it that addiction to the chemical structure of the bad food, but it's also the body trying to find nutrition that it needs. So when you give it the whole food nutrition, it satisfies it. And you just have to make sure you're having that variety.
Yeah, I also like to place an asterisk for folks who are new, like, don't expect a raw vegan pizza to taste like a regular pizza, because it's not. It's not. Raw vegan bread is not the same as regular bread, And sometimes I find that folks go into it and they're like, ooh, what is this? But if you don't expect it to taste like what you're used to, you can actually appreciate it for the taste that it actually has, because they're not bad, but they're definitely different. They're its own thing,
Yeah, good point. Good point, Samantha.
So it's like with mitigating cravings, it's almost like you're playing a trick with raw foods in particular, because with cooked foods, you can more get to the craving with the same taste and texture and things like this, and do all this fake stuff, right? With the raw foods, you have the concept, you have the name, and then you have a look. it looks like it, right? But don't expect it to taste like it, because then it's going to ruin the whole fantasy and you may get turned off. Just, you have to be really open-minded to just trying a new thing. It's a new relationship. It's a healthy relationship with a decent partner, you know, instead of an abusive one.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be open to that. Rosie, this has been great. I love your course. I love what you're doing. I love what you stand for. I think like our values are definitely aligned. For me personally, raw foods helps me, and I think you sound like you're in the same boat. It's like it helps me stay on the straight and narrow, because if I was just a whole food vegan, you know, anyway, I can't. Yeah. Like, my digestive system doesn't allow me to be, you know. So I guess it's kind of similar to you, you know. It just, because it's like a slippery slope. I love to eat. I love food. And it just becomes a slippery slope for me, where my body starts to yell at me and says, like, what are you doing, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So raw foods keeps me honest and well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for having me too, Samantha. I think both of our courses can complement each other in the bundle.
Absolutely. To help yes. And where can people follow you for more amazing raw food inspiration?
Yes, you guys can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Rosie's Raw Living. And on YouTube, you can find me under Rosie Montoya. I also have a site you can go to called gethealthyandjuicy.com. And there I have links to like everything, and you can get in touch with me or follow me on my different accounts.
Nice. Get juicy. I like it.
Well,
yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Rosie. And thank you all of you for joining live. And those of you watching the replay, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Definitely let us know in the comments below, one, if you made the juice she just made and how'd you like it. And if you downloaded her course and took her course, and how did you enjoy the recipes? There's even a Caesar salad in there. And let me tell you, there's nothing better than a raw vegan Caesar salad. Okay, let me tell you. Okay. That definitely satisfies a craving. So you definitely want to make sure you download her course in the bundle and all these other resources. You're literally getting 99% off, which never happens. So make sure you take advantage of that. And until next time, be healthy. Take care.